Welcome to CBT News with Bridget Fitzpatrick.
Hello everyone and welcome back to CBT News. Thank you so much for joining us today. Here's Chris Riggins with today's top stories.
Thanks, Bridget. Ford Motor Company has released its third quarter financial results, reporting a net loss of $827 million for the quarter, which the company attributed to supply chain problems and costs relating to disbanding its autonomous vehicle unit, Argo AI. Despite the loss, the automaker still managed to narrowly beat Wall Street expectations, reporting a revenue of $37.2 billion versus the estimated $36.25 billion and adjusted earnings per share of 30 cents compared to the expected 27 cents. GroupOne, AutoNation, Asbury, and Sonic Automotive all released record-breaking third-quarter earnings results this week. GroupOne reported total revenues for the quarter of $4.2 billion, a 22% increase over Q3 last year, net income of $197.1 million, and earnings per share of $12.57, the highest in the company's history. AutoNation also had record earnings per share of $6.31 and reported $6.7 billion in revenue. Asbury reported revenue of $3.9 billion and earnings per share of $9.23. Sonic Automotive reported a record third quarter revenue of $3.4 billion, a 12% increase year over year, and record net income of $87.3 million. The U.S. recorded third quarter GDP results, marking the first period of positive growth so far this year. The GDP increased at a 2.6% annualized pace for Q3, beating the Dow Jones forecast of 2.3%. A narrowing trade deficit contributed to the quarterly growth, although economists say it's likely a one-off occurrence that won't carry forward into future quarters. An increase in consumer spending, non-residential fixed investments, and government spending were all positives for the quarter. Tesla CEO Elon Musk visited Twitter's corporate headquarters in San Francisco, leading up to his expected takeover of the social media platform on Friday. Musk shared a video of himself carrying a kitchen sink into the offices and changed his public profile descriptor on Twitter to Chief Twit. Musk is expected to address staff on Friday, which marks the deadline for his planned $44 billion deal to acquire the social media platform. The deal is expected to be finalized by 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. Don't go anywhere. Coming up is Tim Jackson, President and CEO of CADA. We'll be right back.
CBT News, 10 years strong.
The Colorado Automobile Dealers Association recently released a report showing a decline in new vehicle registrations and a growing EV market share in the state. Today on Inside Automotive, we're joined once again by Tim Jackson, the President and CEO of the Colorado Automobile Dealers Association, to walk us through more key findings from the report. Check it out.
It's always great catching up with you, Mr. Tim Jackson. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for the opportunity, Jim. It's always good to be on with CBT News. The overall market, we're off about 14.5%, but the market nationally, that's Colorado specific, nationally is off of, between 16 and 17%, close to 17. And so we're actually tracking a little bit above the U.S. as a whole. Mm-hmm. So that's the good news here. When you break down into categories, though, it's where you really get some what I would call the brightest news, and that is all three of the electrified types of vehicles, which are pure hybrids, plug-in hybrids, mm-hmm. and battery electric vehicles, are up, and way up actually. Mm-hmm. Our 2021 over 2020 number was up on battery electrics by 53%. Plug-in hybrids, pure hybrids by 93%, almost double, mm-hmm. and plug-in hybrids by a whopping 153%.
Wow.
Now, the two hybrid categories have tamed a little bit in the first 9 months of this year. They're up around 10 to 20% in that range, but the battery electrics are still up 40%. So if you just take the battery electrics, they're up 40% in a market that's off 15. So wow. There is a shift to electrified models in Colorado. The other thing, Jim, is that Colorado, if you do a per capita ranking, comes in at number 5 in America on penetration of battery electric vehicles.
Wow. And what's driving this activity?
Well, a couple of things. I think the manufacturers, as you've seen, I'm sure, on the national and international level,
Sure.
the manufacturers are prioritizing production of the EVs over some over standard internal combustion engine cars to meet their requirements under the corporate average fuel economy standard nationally, and especially for those states that are under the California low emission vehicle or zero emission vehicle. They call them LEV and ZEV states locally. So, and we are one of those states. So there is a concentrated effort to get more EVs on the ground in Colorado by the manufacturers, and that makes it easier for the dealers here to order those and not have as long a timeline on the pipeline for those to come in as they would in some other parts of the country.
Okay, be sure to watch that interview in its entirety right here at cbtnews.com. That wraps up our show for today, but we invite you to join us back here again tomorrow morning for all the latest news and trends impacting the retail automotive industry. And be sure to follow us on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Bridget Fitzpatrick. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
Thanks for watching CBT News, the voice of the retail automotive industry. CBT News, 10 years strong.